Hey everyone, are you ready to dig into something that probably most of us have had to deal with at some point? Back pain. It's something that can really mess with your day, you know? And today we're going deeper than just the surface. We really want to figure out what our back pain is trying to tell us. Like, how can we keep it from coming back over and over? And what do we do if it's already bugging us?
That's exactly it. Knowing more gives you the power to do something about it, right? So we're going to really break down why back pain happens, because when you get the why, you can start to actually feel in control.
That's what I'm talking about. And we've got a ton of info to work with, which is awesome. But I think before we even get going, we should probably define back pain, because it seems like it's different for everybody. What's going on in our backs when we feel that pain?
That's a really good point to start with, because we usually think of the back pain itself as the problem, but it's actually more like a symptom, kind of like when that check engine light pops up on your car dashboard.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. It's a sign, not the whole story.
Right. It's telling you something's up, but not the exact thing that's wrong. Back pain is your body's way of saying, hey, something's not right here.
So it's like our back is trying to send a message. But maybe we haven't learned to speak back pain yet, so we're missing what it's saying.
That is a perfect way to put it. We're on a mission today to become fluent in back pain, basically, so we understand those messages and, even more importantly, know what to do about them. Let's kick things off with a really important difference. Acute versus chronic back pain. The research talks about this a lot, and there's a good reason why.
Yeah, because if you know which type of pain you're dealing with, you're probably going to tackle it differently, right?
100%. Acute pain, think of it like a sudden storm. It's intense, disruptive, but it usually passes pretty quickly. Chronic pain, that's more like this constant drizzle, might not always be pouring, but it's always kind of there in the background. And just like with those weather situations, you got to approach each one differently.
Okay, so first, got to figure out what kind of pain we're even dealing with. Then we can start trying to find what's causing it. Our sources get into four main reasons: problems with how our bodies move, injuries, underlying medical stuff, and lifestyle choices. Where do we even begin? What usually causes the most trouble?
Well, most of the time, back pain comes from those mechanical issues, how our bodies are working or not working on that physical level.
So we're talking literally the mechanics of our body, like how things are moving or how they're not moving the way they should.
Exactly. And you might be surprised how often the root cause is, get this, bad posture.
Seriously, something as simple as slouching can have that big of an impact.
It's not just slouching, though that's a big one. Think about how much time we spend hunched over laptops or with our necks bent looking at our phones. We're basically putting constant strain on our spines, and after a while, that really takes a toll. Think of it like bending a paper clip over and over. Eventually, it weakens and might even snap. It's kind of like that with the discs in your spine if you've got chronic poor posture.
Wow, okay, that image really makes you think. And with so many people working from home these days, I bet those makeshift desk setups they've got going on aren't helping. The research also mentions muscle imbalances. Is that kind of like when one side of a seesaw is heavier than the other and it throws the whole thing off?
You got it. That's a great way to think about it. Imagine your core muscles, like your abs, back muscles, even your obliques. They're all like internal scaffolding that supports your spine. If those muscles aren't balanced, it's like having weak or uneven scaffolding. That puts way more stress on your spine, and that's when the pain starts.
So let's say my hip flexors are tight from sitting too long. Those could actually pull on my lower back and cause me pain. It's all connected.
It is. Our bodies are incredibly interconnected. What seems like an isolated thing can actually have these ripple effects. And hey, let's not forget about injuries. They're another big reason people have back pain. We've all heard about strains and sprains, but our sources go deeper, talking about herniated discs. I hear that term all the time, but honestly, not sure I really get it.
I hear you. Makes me think of dessert gone wrong or something.
Yeah.
So what's actually going on when a disc herniates?
Okay, picture this. Your spinal discs, they're like these jelly donuts. They have this tougher outer part and then that soft, gooey center. Now, when a disc herniates, it's like that jelly filling gets squeezed out of the donut. And if that jelly pushes up against a nerve, that's when you get pain, because those nerves are how your brain and body talk to each other. Sometimes it's a lot of pain.
Okay, now I get it, and ouch. Donuts suddenly sound way less appealing. Our sources also mention some medical conditions that can show up as back pain, things like arthritis, osteoporosis, and sciatica.
And out of those, sciatica can be tricky because people don't always put it together with back pain. It can really throw you off.
How so? Sciatica seems like it's pretty specific.
It is specific, but the way we feel the pain can be confusing. So sciatica is when your sciatic nerve gets pinched or irritated. That nerve runs all the way from your lower back, through your hips, your butt, and down each leg. So you might feel it in your lower back, but the real giveaway is this shooting electric-y pain that goes down the back of your leg.
So you could think it's a bunch of different things wrong when really it's just this one nerve acting up. That's wild. Okay, we've covered accidents and things we can't really control, but what about our everyday choices? Can our lifestyle actually cause back pain?
Absolutely, and it's often a huge factor. Here's where that internal scaffolding idea comes back in. Remember, those deep abdominal and back muscles, a strong core, they act like internal scaffolding for your spine. If that scaffolding's weak because of being inactive or making poor lifestyle choices, your spine has to deal with so much more stress.
So like if I'm not active, if I'm carrying extra weight, even not eating the right foods, it all adds up to that weaker scaffolding. Sounds like we're practically begging for back pain at that point.
In a way, yeah. Our bodies are amazing. They're like well-oiled machines, but they need the right fuel and upkeep to work their best, right? Without those things, stuff starts to break down, and we feel those breakdowns as pain, stiffness, all that fun stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So we've covered some of the main reasons this happens. Now, how do we keep it from happening in the first place? How do we outsmart back pain?
Preventing it is key, right? So much of the back pain we go through, it's because of how we're treating our backs in the first place.
For sure. So how do we even begin? What are some of the best things we can do to keep back pain from taking over?
Well, let's start with the foundation. Literally. We talked about posture and how important it is to keep your spine healthy. But it's not just about standing up straight. It's about being aware of how you're holding your body all day long. Sitting, standing, even sleeping.
True, because it's easy to start with good intentions, but then throughout the day, you totally forget about your posture. So what are some things we can actually do to keep better posture, especially those of us working desk jobs?
Think about ergonomics. You know how your company keeps mentioning that ergonomic chair? It's not just a fancy perk. It's meant to support your back and help you stay aligned better. Make sure your computer screen is at eye level too, so you're not always looking down. That can strain your neck and upper back. Oh, and here's a simple one. A rolled up towel behind your lower back can make a world of difference for lumbar support.
I love those simple tips, something we can all do. Gotta love a good towel hack.
Yeah.
But we can't be at our perfectly adjusted desks 24/7. What about exercise? What's good for back health?
You know, it's less about doing specific exercises and more about just moving your body in ways that build strength and flexibility. Swimming is great, for example. You're using your whole body, including your core, but it's low impact. Walking is awesome too, and yoga, that's super beneficial for your core strength, flexibility, and just that mind-body connection.
So basically just move our bodies in ways that feel good and build strength. Got it. But let's be real, sometimes back pain just happens. Maybe you slept weird or did a little too much gardening. What can we do in the moment to get some relief?
Okay, so now we're moving from prevention to managing the pain. And luckily, we've got options. Let's start with the simple things. Over-the-counter pain meds like ibuprofen or naproxen, those can be super helpful for inflammation and discomfort.
Like hitting the pause button on the pain signals for a bit?
Exactly. They're not going to solve the problem long term, but they can buy you some time while you figure out what's going on. And then there's always those classic home remedies, the ones our grandparents were always telling us about. Heat, ice, that kind of stuff. Do those actually work, or is it just a placebo effect?
I know, right? Like every grandma swears by a heating pad.
Well, turns out grandma might be onto something. Heat therapy, whether it's a heating pad, a warm bath, or just a hot water bottle, that warmth can really do wonders to loosen up those tight muscles.
It's like a warm hug for your back. What about ice, though? When's that a good idea?
Ice is really good for bringing down swelling and numbing the pain signals. It's especially helpful right after an injury or if you're having a flare-up.
Interesting. So heat's the warm hug. Ice is like the reset button.
Exactly. And some people even find that switching between heat and ice back and forth is the best strategy.
Keep your back guessing. Now, massage. Is that something that can actually help with back pain, or is it just one of those things that feels amazing? Not that there's anything wrong with feeling good, of course.
It can definitely be both. A good massage can do wonders for your back, increases blood flow, eases muscle tension, helps you relax. It's important to find someone qualified, though.
Right, you don't want just anyone cracking your back. Are there certain types of massage that are best for back pain?
There are tons of different techniques, but some common ones for back pain are Swedish massage, deep tissue massage, and trigger point therapy. The key is finding a massage therapist who's really knowledgeable, especially someone who specializes in muscles and joints, so they can tailor the massage to you specifically.
Makes sense. So I'm sensing we're about to talk about the MVP of back pain relief, physical therapy.
You know it. Physical therapy is often the gold standard, and for good reason. It's not just about covering up the pain, it's about fixing the root cause and strengthening your body so you don't keep having these problems.
So it's less about quick fixes and more about, like, long-term solutions.
Yeah.
What does a physical therapy plan even look like for someone with back pain?
Well, it's different for everyone. A good physical therapist will look at your posture, your range of motion, your strength, basically any ways you move that might be contributing to the pain. Then they'll create a plan just for you, and it usually involves a few things. Targeted exercises to strengthen your core, improve flexibility, that kind of thing. Manual therapy, which could be massage, mobilization, or manipulation, basically ways to loosen those muscles and get your joints moving better. And education. Because PTs aren't just there to treat you, they want to teach you how to move better in your everyday life so you can prevent future pain.
So it's like having a personal trainer, a massage therapist, and a back pain coach all rolled into one.
That's a great way to put it. Physical therapy can be really empowering because it gives you the knowledge and the tools to actually take charge of your back health.
This is all making so much sense. Okay, we've covered a lot, but I want to make sure we talk about the elephant in the room. Or I guess I should say, the scalpel in the operating room. Surgery. It's the thing a lot of people with back pain are totally afraid of.
And understandably so. Back surgery is a big deal, definitely not something to take lightly. But the good news is, it's not the only option, and a lot of the time, it's not even the best one.
That's good to hear. So when is surgery actually necessary for back pain?
Usually it's a last resort, if nothing else has worked. Like if you've tried everything you can think of and you're still dealing with pain that just won't quit, surgery might be an option. It might also be necessary if there's an actual structural problem, like a herniated disc that's not getting better with other treatments, or spinal stenosis, where the spinal canal gets too narrow, or spondylolisthesis, where one of your vertebrae slips out of place. And then, of course, if there are problems with your nerves, like if the pain's going down your leg and you're numb or your leg's tingly or weak, that could be a sign that a nerve is being compressed, and that might need surgery.
So surgery is really for those more extreme cases. That makes sense. But even if someone doesn't need surgery, I think there's just a lot of fear and misinformation out there about back pain in general.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many myths and misconceptions floating around about back pain. We got to clear some of those up.
Let's do some myth busting then. What's one of the biggest myths you hear about back pain?
You know, one of the biggest ones is that when you have back pain, you got to rest, rest, rest. And while it's true you don't want to push it too hard when it hurts, if you stay in bed too long, it can actually weaken your muscles and make it harder to heal.
Whoa, really? I always thought you were supposed to take it easy on your back.
It's kind of the opposite of what you'd think, but moving around a little is usually better. Think about it, when you don't move much, your muscles get all stiff and weak. And that can actually make the pain worse. Plus, it makes it easier to hurt yourself again.
So it's about finding that balance, rest when you need to, but get moving when you can.
Exactly. Pay attention to your body. Don't be afraid to start moving around a bit as soon as you can handle it. But of course, always double check with your doctor or a physical therapist to make sure you're not overdoing it.
That's really good advice. What other back pain myths should we clear up while we're at it?
Another big one is this idea that back pain is just part of getting older, like it's unavoidable. And yeah, it's true that the older we get, the higher our chances of having back pain. But it's not a guarantee, and it's definitely not something you should just give into.
So we don't have to suffer in silence. There's hope for us seasoned folks.
Totally. There's a lot you can do to prevent and deal with back pain, no matter how old you are. We talked about how important exercise is, staying at a healthy weight, and using your body the right way. All that becomes even more important as we age.
It's good to know we have some say in how our bodies age. Now, before we wrap things up, I wanted to talk about something we all deal with: sleep. When your back is killing you, getting a good night's sleep can feel impossible. What can we do to make our sleep setup more back-friendly?
Oh, sleep is so important when it comes to back pain. It's when our bodies do their best healing. A lot of times, just finding a comfortable sleep position can make a huge difference.
It's like trying to solve one of those puzzles, except instead of tiny pieces, you're trying to make your whole body fit just right.
I like that. Okay, let's break it down by sleeping position. Back sleepers, you're in luck. Sleeping on your back is generally considered the best for keeping your spine aligned. Try putting a pillow under your knees that helps keep that natural curve in your spine. Side sleepers, you want to keep your spine nice and straight. A pillow between your knees can work wonders for aligning your hips and spine so you're not all twisted. And stomach sleepers. Honestly, that one's the hardest on your back, puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. If you absolutely have to sleep on your stomach, try using a really thin pillow or even no pillow and maybe put a pillow under your hips to ease some of the strain.
So really, it's all about finding what works best for your body, right? Are there certain mattresses or pillows that are better for your back?
Mattresses are tough because there's no magic answer that works for everyone. That said, most people with back pain find that a medium firm mattress is a good balance, supportive, but not like sleeping on a rock. The main thing is to find one that supports those natural curves in your spine and lets your muscles totally relax.
Like Goldilocks, right? Not too hard, not too soft, just right.
Yeah.
What about pillows? Any tips for finding the perfect one?
Again, it all comes back to keeping your spine aligned. If you sleep on your back, a thinner pillow is usually good, so your head isn't pushed too far forward. Side sleepers usually need a thicker pillow to fill in that space between your ear and shoulder, which keeps your neck in line with your spine. And our stomach sleepers out there, if you just can't give it up, a really thin pillow or no pillow might be the way to go.
It sounds like it takes some experimenting to find what works.
It does. Pay attention to how you feel in the morning. If your back is stiff or achy, it might be time to switch up your mattress, your pillow, or even how you're sleeping.
This has been amazing. Seriously eye-opening. I can already tell I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, thanks to all this great advice.
I hope so. Sleep is so important for your overall health, and when you wake up feeling good and pain-free, you're ready to take on anything.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about. But if there's one thing I want everyone listening to remember, it's that back pain is rarely as simple as, oh, my back hurts. It's your body trying to tell you something. It's like being a detective. You got to figure out where the problem's coming from. Once you understand why you're in pain, that's how you find real, lasting relief. Any last words of wisdom before we say goodbye?
Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Ask questions, find those health professionals who really listen, and be involved in your own healing process.
Love that. You are your own best advocate always. So as you go about your day, I want you to ask yourself, if your back could talk, what would it want you to change? Think about it. That's all we've got for today's deep dive into back pain. Until next time, stay curious and stay pain-free, everybody.